Am I the butthole for canceling plans because my friend brought his kid? Hello, I'll try and make this short and sweet. I, 18 male, plan to go to the beach with my friends, 18 male, 17 male, 18 female, yesterday. It was cold but nice and seemed like the perfect weather for surfing. However, before I left the house, my friend Jay announced to the group chat that he'd invited his girlfriend Ellie and their toddler with us. Honestly, I know how these things go. The day ends up revolving around whether the kid is too warm or too cold or needs a nap, so I made up an excuse not to go and stayed at home with my dog all day. Unfortunately, Jay got suspicious. My mate Tom and I seem to have a habit of canceling whenever his kid is involved, and he got offended by it. We have explained multiple times before that being around the kid makes us uncomfortable and that springing it upon us isn't fair, but he was still pissed off we canceled short notice. He said if we're friends with him, we need to be friends with his girlfriend and toddler too. I have no issues with Ellie, but I don't want to hang out with his toddler all the time. I have nieces and nephews and kids just aren't for me. Am I the butthole? Edit. I mentioned this in one of the comments and someone recommended I add it here, but one of the reasons we are so uncomfortable is that Tom is on the spectrum and the toddler is allowed to pull our hair and put sticky fingers in our face, and Tom can't deal with that, but the parents don't prevent it. Edit 2. Cheers for the awards. Edit 3. Clearly, I didn't make this clear enough, but Tom, my friend who also cancelled, is autistic. The toddler is not. Not the butthole if Jay is going to make his friends hang out with his toddler. He is going to find himself without friends. It's totally reasonable for 18-year-olds to not want to spend time with a toddler. Original poster replies, "Thank you." Spending time with a toddler isn't really the issue though. Lots of teens of all genders like babies and toddlers, perhaps fewer boys in Western cultures. The issue here is a lack of communication. You have expressed multiple times that you don't want to hang out with a toddler. Jay don't respect your no, and doesn't ask anymore. Not okay. However, friendships are give and take. If you want to be a good friend, make a compromise. Jay sounds like a good boyfriend who actually includes his girlfriend, who presumably is also young, and her baby. But you also need to spend time with him alone, and that's fair. How about having the baby along, say, no more than once a week or every other week, depending on how often you hang out. Majority of meets should be child-free, or perhaps find certain activities where girlfriend and toddler is invited, while others are off limits? I suggest you use this opportunity to develop something called emotional maturity, meaning that you sometimes do things for others because it makes them happy. Edited for clarity. Edit. Somehow, I missed that Jay is the dad. Sorry for that. Thank you so much for all the love. Safe hugs, purple heart, purple heart, purple heart. I disagree with your advice about compromising. Your friend's girlfriend and toddler do not need to be friends with you. It is completely healthy to partition social groups. Not if you want to remain friends long-term as you move through adulthood. Some level of integration is almost always needed for that to work well. Yeah, it's a choice. Compromise and remain friends. Don't compromise and stop being friends. It's up to original poster, and whatever original poster chooses is fine. But this has to come from original poster's friend too. It's not a compromise if he can do whatever he wants and expects original poster and third friend to just smile and wave. If he did this repeatedly, mentioning the fact that other people will come along whom he knows original poster and third friend are not comfortable around in the last minute, I can understand why original poster might be less willing to compromise. Interestingly, if it was a dog/puppy, people would be as if, yeah, it's your right. Interestingly, if it was a dog/puppy, people would be as if, yeah, it's your right. Probably depends on the person. It's true for me. I'd rather hang out with a dog than a toddler anytime, but I love dogs and I don't like kids. I love dogs and don't particularly do well with kids, but if someone unexpectedly brought a dog along to a planned meetup, I'd probably be pissed. It really does limit what you can do and would usually have a big impact on the agreed on plans. Like who's going to watch the dog while we're surfing? We were going to go to our favorite place to eat afterwards, guess we can't do that now. Equally, I assume original poster's friend isn't intending to just leave the girlfriend and baby on the beach while he hangs with his friends. If a friend asked, did I want to come with them when they brought their dog to the beach, I'd be delighted, But changing plans at the last minute is unfair? Exactly, it's not about the toddler, or hypothetical dogs. It's about the fact that Op's friend has changed the nature of their plans without discussing it with them. Frankly, if someone doesn't like toddlers, and their friend has a toddler, the friendship is not likely to last. This might seem harsh, but this happens all the time once people start having children. Sure, there might be some exceptions, but I think most parents don't want to hang out with someone who doesn't like their kids, and most non-parents don't want to hang around with someone who is always talking about their kids. This doesn't make anyone the butthole, it's just the way of the world. Because a dog is something else than a human being. Well, they are 18, not 30 or so. So thinking about long-term friends and dealing with their toddlers is a bit early in my opinion. Expecting to hang out with your friend doesn't mean you have to hang out with their family at that age. I agree. I wasn't responding to original poster about this case, I was just responding to the comment it's completely healthy to partition social groups. In this case, it's reasonable for 18-year-olds to want and expect to have time together without toddlers. But, once you have kids, that's not always possible, so they just need to agree rules as a friend group on what activities are adult-only, and which can be flexible. Not really? I mean, my gaming friends and wife's family seem to have survived being segregated. Your gaming friends and your wife's family are two distinct groups in the first place. A friend and his newborn child have lives that are somewhat more entwined. My Dungeons & Dragons friends largely remain separated from my ex-partner. It's healthy to have groups that are compartmentalized. You need time away from your partner. Like, I get maybe coming along every now and then, but let's be realistic, these are 18-year guys, they're going to want to do guy stuff and hang out, and that's going to be fairly affected by a toddler hanging around. The girlfriend and kid don't need to do everything with the friend. There is important mother/child time and father/child time. Mom can spend time with her friend group while dad watches the kid and vice versa. If both parents want to be involved in the outing, they're going to have to look for a babysitter. Yeah, that might be pricey or a rarity, but that's one of the sacrifices that comes with having children. You also can't expect that everyone around you will immediately, or even eventually, love that kid as much as you. Some people barely tolerate children as a general rule. And from the perspective of a child who was brought to my parents' friends' houses and arguably entwined, it effing sucks. I didn't need to be included in that bunch of adults hanging out, maybe 3 other kids that I didn't have anything in common with, and all the kids become entertainment for whatever reason because now the parents are using them to compare their parenting. It's a crap show. Kids don't need to hang out at adult gatherings. It doesn't hurt the child or parent to have a babysitter so that parents can get some adult time. It shouldn't hurt the relationship to have a day with friends without the significant other and the child. I have friend groups that are connected to my wife and friend groups that re not. I also have friends where I know their wives well, or even introduced them, and friends where I have barely interacted with their or even not met them. I'm 50 and can say with certainty that there is no one formula for friends as you move through adulthood. This is exactly the age when major life changes pull friends in different directions. It's healthy to grow apart after high school. Smile and wave. If he did this repeatedly, mentioning the fact that other people will come along whom he knows original poster and third friend are not comfortable around in the last minute, I can understand why original poster might be less willing to compromise. It's entirely normal to have some different friend groups. Those that are family friends, social friends, friend in a girls or boys group, etc. It's not healthy to force your kids on everyone even when they aren't wanted. That just leads to you having a restricted friendship group, i.e. those that are willing to put up with that. And this is why the divide between has kids and no kids ends up being a big deal as you get older. It's fun to hang out with old friends, but kids do change the math definitely. Exactly, I understand why Jay would like his friends to have a good relationship with his girlfriend and the toddler, but it's an unfair ultimatum that he sets up to his friends. I personally love spending time with my pals away from family. This is what grown-ups do. All of my fiancé's main group of friends are married with young kids. My fiancé and I don't really like being around kids all that much, but we suck it up and do it for them. I don't go to every hangout because the kid talk can get a bit much at times, but I make the effort a lot of the time. If you want to stay friends with them, they kind of do. Jay won't be able to hang out by himself with his friends as often as the others will. If they want to continue including him in the group, they'll have to compromise a bit. To be fair, I don't expect that to work. It's the reason most friend group dynamics change dramatically when one or a few of the people in it have babies. You've got it backwards. It's the parent's job to compromise and stop trying to force his friend group to include his partner and a toddler. You don't get to force your friends to make more friends just so you don't have to balance your life properly. Why can't he spend time away from his kid? Both parents should have breaks from caring for the child. The post says his kid, their toddler, and his toddler, so how you got that he is being a good boyfriend by inviting his girlfriend and her kid? Did I miss something in the comments? Sounds like Jay is a teen dad, who just needs to accept that he's in a very different life stage from his friends now. If his friends don't want to hang out with the toddler, then that's their right, but both sides need to accept that it is going to mean a cooling off of the friendship because Jay has a child that deserves to get the vast majority of his free time. Jay has a child that deserves to get the vast majority of his free time. This is a brilliant concept. I agree with the most part especially. Exactly. I respect that he doesn't bugger off with his friends all the time, leaving his kid with his girlfriend because she is the mum, so that's her job. Hopefully they both get some child-free time, but their priority should be their little one. It's a lot easier to handle a baby/toddler as a pair. I completely agree, and because he hasn't accepted that, he thinks this like bringing a puppy along and everything will be fine because everybody loves puppies. Wrong. Just like when single friends have married friends. It becomes a point to where married can't do what single do without it being an issue. I'd rather people bring surprise puppies over surprise babies. I second this. This was exactly what I was thinking. How does one have a whole toddler at 18 and expect to just keep living a normal social life? Doesn't work like that, buddy. Time for him to start realizing that. Can't believe I had to scroll so long for an appropriate answer. He's a dad first and foremost. If mum has been sole career while he's been at school or work and he then chooses to go out with his friends alone, I'd be seriously asking WTF. Original poster, hey, let's do this thing in a few weeks. Jay, I can't, I have to watch the kid then. Original poster, alright, we'll figure something else out. Also maybe original poster, no worries, toddler can come too if it works better. These are the only two variations on this that should be happening. Not the butthole. Jay needs to give more notice or opt out if he can't get away from the kid and girlfriend. It'd be great if the group could accept them, but they're all young so they shouldn't have to. Jay and girlfriend decided to have a kid, so they need to deal with having a kid and how that impacts their social lives. Not sure where you're getting the idea that original poster has some urgent need to develop emotional maturity, plus empathy. We don't have enough info to really judge, but nothing in the post suggests original poster is being unreasonable or cruel. Nor is he suffering from a lack of communication. He's communicated his position, plus, Jay isn't listening. I feel for Jay, but taking a toddler on a surfing trip, or most hangouts with teens, is a bad idea. Plus, most toddlers would probably rather be playing with other toddlers anyway. Hopefully he can find some support, maybe a community of other young parents, where he can form new friendships with other parents, but right now it sounds like he's trying to be a good dad, excellent, while also still being 18. Plus, that's an impossible tightrope to walk. I suggest that original poster is being very mature. He explained his position and does what he can to avoid the situation. It's Jay who needs to be mature and understand that springing his baby on folks when they have plans is immature and wrong. Not the butthole original poster. Well said. But it's totally reasonable for people of any age to not want to spend time with a toddler if they don't want to. Not the butthole. I see a ton of people on Facebook that had kids in high school, very common in small-town Iowa, that complain about how they got pregnant and lost all their friends or found out who their real friends are. Like, no, you used to go out and party and now you can't go do that with all your friends and they don't want to stop doing it because they don't have a kid. He needs to understand that having a kid does not mean you have to change your life. Not the butthole. We have explained multiple times before that being around the kid makes us uncomfortable and that springing it upon us isn't fair, but he was still pissed off we cancelled short notice. You did communicate with Jay about this. Jay refuses to listen and continues planning on activities with the kid. Nothing you can do if Jay doesn't listen. Jay is probably thinking that he can wear you down. Original poster replies, thanks. It's likely, I suppose. Why is he pissed if you cancel on short notice, but it's okay that he invites 2 other people, one of them a toddler no less, on short notice without asking the other participants? This also really stood out to me. Short notice changes are okay from him but not others. What a hypocrite. Not the butthole. I totally understand that you don't want your supposed buddy's only activity suddenly hijacked by a toddler and a girlfriend, and you have to communicate that very clearly to him in a compassionate but firm way, again if he is hard of understanding, but maybe compromise a bit too if you want to keep being friends with him. Like, actually invite all of them to something once in a while. That kid and his girlfriend is probably a big part of his life and he wants to share them/you with each other and have a good time. Otherwise, he will have to hang out with someone else from now on because you guys don't keep up the friendship with compromises and only boundaries, which are also necessary, and basically make it an ultimatum between you and his girlfriend. If you got a girlfriend, I'm sure you would like to sometimes hang out with all your favorite people at once. Maybe Jay is trying to still have friends and feel like life, as he knew it isn't over because he has a child. Maybe he's trying to bring the 2 parts of his life together. Maybe Jay is trying to feel like his old self despite sleepless nights and new pressures and expectations. Just a guess. I'm certain that's what's happening. Jay hasn't figured out that it has changed and he can't hang on to his old life by foisting his baby into every situation like it's no big deal. It is a big deal. The reason he's offended is because the cognitive dissonance is painful between the fantasy of how he convinced himself things could be, and how they actually are. Original poster replies, that's really interesting, thanks. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to be the first to know about Red Rabbit Reader's new videos. If you like our videos, please like them on YouTube and share them with your friends. We welcome your comments below. Press to start another of our videos.